I saw Superman today. Got out of the theater just a couple hours ago and actually went over and wrote a bunch of notes down. Overall, though, my opinion, this could have been a decent way to restart the DC movie universe if someone other than James Gunn had directed and written this movie. Um, I'm actually going to point out some good things about this movie. First off, David Corenswet, Rachel Brosnahan, and Nicholas Hoult. I thought they did well as actors. I liked their performances, with a caveat on Nicholas Holt's, though. But I thought there was really good chemistry between Corenswet and Brosnahan. I thought they paired off well together. I was surprised how much I liked Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner. He played him as a perfect a-hole, just the way Guy Gardner is supposed to be. Eddie Gathecki, I thought he was pretty good as Mr. Terrific, if not a little bit overpowered. I liked the look of the movie. It had a bright tone to it, as opposed to, the Snyderverse version, which is very dark, muted colors. This felt more like a comic book in that sense. There were some times it was a little too CGI. The fight with Kaiju was way too CGI. I also like the DC super science. They weren't shying away from the fact this is a completely different universe with some really fantastical, futuristic technology that felt very comic book to me. So I like that aspect of it. It really felt like this was adapting more true to the hearts of those comic books. Unfortunately, the movie does go off the rails. And the first problem is the story. The story is messy. Let me just quickly summarize where we are. This picks up 3 years after Superman has appeared. And literally this whole movie starts with him crashing into the Arctic, just like we see in the trailers. He's getting his ass handed to him by the Hammer of Barovia, who actually turns out to be Ultraman in disguise. This is all for revenge for him stopping a war between Barovia and the neighboring state. Now, we also have the Crypto scene where Crypto grabs him and takes him back to the fortress. It gets fixed up by the robots with the extreme solar radiation where he screams, goes back to the fight, and then Ultraman who's actually under the control of Lex Luthor, because Ultraman, of course, is the clone of Superman. He's an imperfect clone of Superman, but he's disguised as the Hammer of Barovia. Lex is basically directing the fight like it's a game, like it's a video game. He's shouting out commands, and his computer guys are inputting commands for fight sequences and fight combos. They resolve the fight. He goes away. And then we sort of go to, we get now Clark and Lois. And like I said, I think they had good chemistry together. I think they worked well together. I would have liked us to have more of Clark and Lois. Not as much, though, in the scene where there's the interview. That was overly long. And I think it does show a little bit where David Corenswet's version of Superman, again, based on what is being written for him, is a little too emotionally unstable.
People were going to die.
Yeah, it's the scene's not that great. I understand what they're trying to do. I think it could have been done better if it had been more set up as, let's try to practice how you would do a real interview with a real reporter. That would have been better. Anyway, Lex breaks into the Fortress of Solitude while Superman and the Justice Gang battles a kaiju in Metropolis. While he's there, Lex steals a Kryptonian recording, which he uses to discredit Superman. Recording is about Superman's parents. So now everyone dislikes Superman. The U.S. government issues a warrant, and Superman turns himself in, and they hand Superman over to Lex's group, Planet Watch, which apparently has the ability to contain superpowered individuals. In fact, what basically Lex has done is created a hole into a pocket universe where he keeps certain individuals he doesn't like, including apparently ex-girlfriends. So they imprison Superman there. And even though there's no kryptonite on the planet, apparently it's no more kryptonite on the planet anymore, Lex has imprisoned Metamorpho, blackmailing him with harming his son, and forces Metamorpho to create kryptonite to depower Superman. So Superman's kept in the pocket universe jail. Lois and Mr. Terrific go there to rescue him. At the same time, Jimmy Olsen learns that Lex is the one who's been starting the war between Barovia and the neighboring country. I forget the name. It's like Jiragathon, or Jaragathor, I don't know. It's some J country. And he learns it from Eve Tessmacher, who is now the Lex's current girlfriend, who apparently has a real thing for Jimmy Olsen. Jimmy is, for some reason, a chick magnet in this thing. Like, girls are constantly looking at him. I'm wondering if this was a James Gunn self-insert to how he would like to be seen. Well, anyway, after Superman is rescued, the pocket universe gets damaged, and a spatial tear occurs and starts heading right towards Metropolis. So while Superman goes to stop the tear, he has to fight, Lex's superpowered Planet Watch, including the Engineer, Ultraman, and I think they were called Raptors, the like robotic superpowered people. While that's happening, the Justice Gang goes off to stop the war in Barovia. In the end, Superman beats Ultraman and the Engineer. Mr. Terrific stops the rift. Lex is revealed to be a traitor because he's the one who's orchestrated this entire war and orchestrated this whole scheme to discredit Superman just to start this war for a specific reason. And Superman, of course, is victorious, and he and Lois kiss at the end. So that's your story. That's it in a nutshell. Like I said, the story is a mess. It's overbloated. There's too many people involved. This is supposed to be a Superman movie. I think back to when I saw the Superman movie in the theaters. I was like 6 years old. There was one hero, Superman. He's the one involved. He's doing everything. This one, it's almost like, I think this is where I think one of the reasons James Gunn is not good for this. He can't focus on Superman. He has all these other characters around him. So he's in his Guardians of the Galaxy mode, paying attention to all the other characters when the main focus should be on Superman and more about his personal struggles. We really don't get to know Superman as a hero the way we should here. Naturally, it's more like, here's him saying something and now you know what he is. It's tell, don't show. I don't like that. Oh, yeah. The disgraceful treatment of Ma and Pa Kent. Apparently, James Gunn thinks anyone who lives in the South or Midwest is a country bumpkin because Ma Kent does not know how to work her cell phone. Literally, there's a scene where she's talking to Clark, and like they're not supposed to be. This is like, they're not supposed to be that old, but you think they're like, even my parents know this. She's leaning over to the phone like, Clark, can you hear me? And it is the worst Southern accent ever. It is grating and annoying, and they sound stupid. It's just, it's so bad. It's a terrible depiction of Martha and Jonathan. Still, the best TV depictions, live action depictions, are on Lois and Clark, Kay Callan playing Ma, and Eddie Jones playing Pa Kent, and of course Smallville, John Schneider, Jonathan Kent, and Annette O'Toole as Martha Kent. They were the way Clark's parents should be. These people literally seem stupid to the point of, how did they raise this super child? Of course, based off the marketing and merchandising, we have to talk about the elephant in the room, or rather the superpowered dog, Krypto. All right, I know there are going to be a lot of people that are upset about Krypto. Clearly, we know this is being done for the reason of, get the kids in. Here's a cute dog. And it's cute enough on screen. Looks fine. We know it's a CGI dog. It looks pretty decent for a CGI dog. But it's the same thing with, like, Baby Yoda. Oh, so cute. Krypto. Oh, so cute. There's times it's like, okay, I don't mind Krypto being there, but I did not like the over-reliance on Krypto. He's doing too much. He's doing too much, especially for how he's portrayed. He's really portrayed as a not very bright dog, and I know because I also have dogs. He's just kind of out of control, not well trained. There's a reason why, of course. But Krypto has been depicted as having much more intelligence. He's literally a super-powered, intelligent dog from another planet. He's basically played for gimmicks and laughs and everything. And isn't that cute? And the reason I said, I mentioned he's not well trained. Well, it turns out that it's actually not Clark's dog. Contrary to actual Superman lore, Krypto is not Superman's dog. Belongs to Kara. Yeah, Kara Zor-El, Supergirl, Superman's cousin, who shows up at the end. Played, I think the name, it's Millie Alcock. Alcock shows up at the end to collect Krypto. And she literally shows up drunk. I'm not kidding. She shows up drunk. And like, I think one what she calls him dude. I know she says, "See ya, bitch," to Superman. Oh, what? I mean, actually, I thought she looked decent as Supergirl. She didn't look as weird as she looks as in the House of the Dragon. But God, I hope this is not the characterization. Clark says, she goes off to planets with red suns to party. I mean, get it, she's a teenager, but holy crap, do we have to go so much with just like degenerate, drunken teenager? That does not bode well. That does not bode well for that Supergirl movie.
Good luck with that.
All right. Again, I said a caveat about Nicholas Hoult. I thought he did good with what was presented to him, but I thought what was presented to him made Lex Luthor seem manic. He was up, he was down, he was up, he was down. It wasn't a sense of a unified character for me. And again, like I say, that's not his fault. He's only doing what the writers give him. And Nicholas Hoult is a really good actor. I've enjoyed his performances, but it just didn't work for me. I didn't get the sense that he was really menacing in the way he should have been. Physically, he wasn't menacing, and his voice wasn't menacing. When I think of Lex Luthor's voice, I instantly go to the animated Superman series along with the Justice League series, Clancy Brown playing Lex Luthor. Perfect, gravelly, deep voice, the sense of menace. For live action, still for me, Michael Rosenbaum is the best live action Lex Luthor. Of course, he did have 7 seasons to explore the character, but the way he presented him, yeah, he had his good side, but you could see the dark side and wasn't as manic as we saw Nicholas Hoult do. While we're on the issue of Lex, all right. So I mentioned that Lex is orchestrating, this whole thing, the war and everything. Why is he doing it? Well, here's a shocker. And in a Superman movie with Lex Luthor as the bad guy, he wants land. Yeah. Once again, the bad guy, Lex Luthor, is in a Superman movie, and his goal is to get land. And the first Superman the movie, what did Gene Hackman's Lex Luthor want? He wanted land. He was launching a nuclear missile to take out California and create a new coastline, which should all be Lex Luthor properties.
Bye-bye, California. Hello, new West Coast, my West Coast.
And Superman 2, when Zod, Ursa, and Nod came down and he made an alliance with him, what did he want? Of course, he wanted land again. So he asked to be ruler of Australia.
I have this affinity for beachfront property.
What do you want?
Australia.
And Superman Returns, what does Lex Luthor want? He wants land.
You can print money, manufacture diamonds, and people are a dime a dozen, but they'll always need land. It's the one thing they're not making anymore of.
Yeah, he creates his own island in the middle of the Atlantic. Guys, Lex Luthor needs to have a better plan than just getting land. Lex is actually a very complex character, and his motivations here seem very base and unbecoming of Lex Luthor. Also, he admits that the reason he hates Superman is just pure envy. I get that that's part of it, but Lex Luthor in the comics has much more complex personality. It's not just, I hate Superman, I'm envious of him. It's that he literally thinks that he's the best person to save the planet, not Superman. So the last thing I really want to talk about, and this is really what ruins the movie for me, it is flat out character assassination. Clark has a video of his biological parents, Jor-El and Lara. It was recovered from his crash spaceship, and there's a scene where the robots are helping him heal, and it's played because he finds it soothing, he finds it helpful. It's a message of how much they loved him and how much they wanted to save him and how important he is to them, and that's a connection for him. That's his parents, and he knows now that they love him. They didn't just abandon him, so that's the connection. But the message was damaged. When Lex Luthor goes into the fortress, he steals this message, and the engineer is able to repair the damaged message. And this message which is used, the complete undamaged message is used to turn everyone against Superman. Why? Because Jor-El says, we are sending you to Earth to take over. You have power. The humans are weak and stupid. You can rule over them. And you should. Take over the planet. He says, take as many wives as you want and repopulate the species. Save Krypton. There's actually, someone says, do you have a space harem at one point? And again, that's very Gunn humor. Oh my God. Dude, that's insane. That to me is insane. You just made Jor-El a bad guy. Every depiction we've ever had of Jor-El, comic books, cartoon, live action movies and TV shows, he has been talking about he sends his son Kal-El to Earth to be a force of good. Superman the movie, Brando says, I'm sending you, my only son, to this planet to help humans.
For this reason above all, their capacity for good, I have sent them you, my only son.
In Man of Steel, Russell Crowe as Jor-El says that you can be a force of good to help guide humans and give them something to aspire to so they don't have the catastrophe, the destruction of their planet as the Kryptonians did.
Not if you give them hope. Embodied within that hope is the fundamental belief in the potential of every person to be a force for good. That's what you can bring them.
In Smallville, even though there was some portion of time where Clark wasn't certain why his father sent him there, when he thought that his father sent him there to rule, to be a force for evil, and he didn't want that. In the end, Jor-El said, you are a force of good, and you are there to save the planet Earth.
You and you alone possess the courage, the determination, and the compassion that will be required of you to lift the darkness from the Earth.
Honestly, the only thing I can figure is James Gunn read Robert Kirkman's Invincible series and said, you know what? I think Krypton is really the Viltrum Empire, and Superman was sent here as Omni-Man, a Viltrumite destined to take over the planet. Literally, that's what they have done.
We fucked up.
This is a complete destruction of the Superman mythos. The whole purpose of him being sent to Earth to save humanity, I mean, it's key to Superman. It's been this way for 70 plus years. I mean, we know there's many times that there's a Christ-like analogy to Superman's purpose here. Jor-El sending his only son to save the people of Earth. We know that analogy, and it's, you know, maybe it's overplayed, but it was part of Superman history. I do not understand how you can literally retcon an integral part of the American superhero and think that's okay, that's fine. I guess James Gunn's message is that it doesn't matter who you are or based on where you came from, you define who you are as a person. We understand that. Clark could have been decided to be a bad guy whether he wanted to or not. He was raised by good people. He was raised by good parents. Smart parents in other versions, not dumb hicks like they're shown here, but they loved him and they taught him to love other people and to be a good person. I guess that's the message, and I guess he has to reject his evil biological parents. This is a baffling decision to me, and it really hurts the movie for me. Like I say, I didn't think it was great. I thought it was, it was up and down. The actors I thought did really well. I think that with them in a well-written movie, Superman movie, not Justice Gang movie, but a Superman movie, it would have been great. Well, at least good, not great. Would have been better. This was, I was hoping serviceable, but the fact that they had basically Jor-El send Kal-El to Earth to conquer, it's too much for me. It's too much for me. That's where, I can't see it as that great of a movie. At best, it's decent, maybe serviceable, but when you change lore like that, it's wrong, and there's no reason to do it. So yeah, that's my opinion after Superman. May have to see it again, just to take my significant other. Maybe I'll find some other things that are good in it, but overall, it was not a good experience. Could have been. I think James Gunn was the wrong choice. Questions, comments, witticisms down below. Click all the good buttons. See you guys next time.